Welcome, welcome to the show. This is the Descendants of American Slaves Network. My name is Arron, and thank you for viewing our content today. Today, we will be viewing going over 4 points. That will be 1, our public service announcement. 2 would be our U.S. Census strategy. 3 would be race according to the 14th Amendment. And 4, the actual page 7 from the U.S. Census, box 8, which we made a correction on. So we want to welcome Dr. Gerald Higginbotham to the show today. How you doing, Doctor?
Hey, I'm doing exceptionally well, and it's so honored to be on the DSA Today network. And I'm excited about the topics today and what we can share with our YouTube audience to help them become empowered so they can get to the next level. Throwing it back at you.
Okay, well, Dr. Gerald Higginbotham, for those who are listening for the first time, is our Prime Minister of the American Slave Nation. And we are looking to his leadership and direction to take us to 41,000 feet, as you always say, Cap. So we'll fasten our seatbelts, but however, there is a little housekeeping we need to do. Yeah, so this is for my angry fans, those of you who were so critical of our first video on this network. If it's constructive criticism, I'll happily and gladly receive it. We have a script and an agenda today, so thank you to those that did provide some constructive criticism. For all of you other angry fans of mine, I love you. Stick with us. I hope this helps you out. All right, Doc, it's time for us to go to 41,000 feet. Our seat backs are upright. Our tray tables are put away. Take it away.
All right. Well, what I'm going to do is put our public service announcement back up, and you can be able to share that with them. Okay.
Yeah, I'd love to share that with the audience here. So this is our public service announcement with the American Slave Nation. It is election time. What race will you choose on the Census 2020, page 7, box 8? Those of us who are descendants of American slaves will choose box 8 and write in American slave. Why? In reviewing the U.S. Constitution, we see that there are 2 races spoken in this business contract, Indian and slave. So it is time to get down to business. When tax dollars get distributed this year, we will get our share of the $500 billion to be shared amongst the races here in the U.S. We want you and your families to receive your share. However, it will take much effort in freeing our minds in seeing this nation as a business. Do not get caught up in the term slave, because we celebrate our ancestors and their many accomplishments to put us in this position. The value we brought to the economic success of the United States of America caused America to write us in the business contract called the Constitution. But thieves have stolen this economic benefit by calling us everything but what the contract identifies us as. Misidentifying our race has been a strategy, and this caused some of us to choose personal success and a measure of approval from other races over organizing and strategizing ourselves to protect our communities and businesses. Dr. King mentioned in one of his last speeches that the economic war would be the battle to take on next, and we are here to claim what is ours. A new day is here, and although we are proud of what we have accomplished against such strategic odds, we are laser focused on the future business of American Slave Nation. Us uniting around the census, page 7, box 8, will have an immediate impact on our personal circumstances. So if for nothing else, let's get to the polls this year so we can get our share of the $500 billion to be handed out. U.S. Census 2020, page 7, box 8, write in American slave.
Well, let me do this here, Arron. Let me put the box up so people could see it. We went out there and got the box and showed you so you can see what it looks like, because it's so important that if anything, we can unite around this piece here. It lets America know that we are serious about getting paid.
All right, and while you get that up, yeah, it's about business, and we need to get down to business. And it's just important that our listeners understand clearly what the document looks like. We mentioned 8 boxes. There's more boxes on the page, but as you look at the left margin, we're counting the boxes down the left margin to box number 8, and that will be what you explain here.
Well, one of the things we probably need to do, Arron, because I know people say I'll believe it when I see it. We need to show in the Constitution where, there's only 2 groups of people. I'm not interested in the Indians because they already got their game and they're off and running. I'm only interested in the American slave culture. This is the 14th Amendment, Section 4. It says the validity of the public debt of the United States, authorized by law, including debts incurred for payments of pension and bounties for services in suppressing insurrection or rebellion, shall not be questioned. But neither the United States nor any state shall assume or pay any debt or obligation incurred in aid of insurrection or rebellion against the United States, or any claim for the loss of emancipation of any slave. Ding, 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 ding. But all such debt, obligation, and claim shall be held illegal and void. This is Section 4 of the 14th Amendment. Here on the 2020 census, if you go out there, you'll see this is page 7. And down here, box 8, you want to write in the name American slave. Some other race, print, race, or origin, write in American slave. If you look up here, you can see where it has American, on box 3, American Indians or Alaska Native. What's also interesting in that same box, it says print name of enroll or principal tribe, for example, Navajo Nation.
Mm-hmm.
So they have acknowledged, Arron, nations on this document for the Indians. And so we are the American slave nation. But for now,
That's
just
right.
write in American slave. We can talk about that other part later. But this is where we want to do this here, where we are really properly acknowledging ourselves here on box 8 and write in the name American slave. Any thoughts or comments you have on this box, Arron?
Well, education of the document is extremely important. I am excited more than ever this year in going to the ballot box because I want the American constituents to know that I understand that I am a descendant of American slave, and I'm very proud of that. And in honoring my ancestors and those that have came before me in this nation, I will be going to box 7 and writing in American slave.
You mean box 8? I thought I heard
or
you
box
say.
8. Thank you. Yeah. We've been back and forth with that, and I'm glad we got a chance to show that. So it's extremely important just in identifying and understanding our identity in this nation called United States of America. This is a business. This is a business.
Well,
this nation is a business.
It's all about capitalism.
Yes.
And so we have to be willing to do business. You know, our ancestors were once sold in the marketplace. And so I can understand how our ancestors didn't want to talk about it. But after they kicked them off the plantation, they didn't give them no type of economic emancipation, provided no type of leadership training, Brother Arron, or how to enter into mainstream America. So our culture has been struggling for the last 158 years. But the good news is that now that we're awake, those that have stepped up, we understand what the Constitution have said since we've read it, and our culture name slave is in there. And so we are doing what we can to help make it happen. I know you asked me once before, how did this all come into Mr. Norris and I getting the wake-up call, why we should put our name on the box? Well, I went out to Washington, D.C., Arron, and I met Congressman Clay Lacy.
Okay.
And we discussed, you know, he was arguing with me, no, we African American, we Black, and and on and on. I said, Congressman, time out. Were you born in Africa? Were you born on the continent of Africa? No. I said, where were you born at? He said, I was born right here in Missouri. So I said, okay, great. I was born in Los Angeles. We're not African Americans. We're Americans. And then he started talking about his folks were slaves. And I said, see, there it is. We've just had misinformation. And so he said, I'll run it up the flagpole. And so he did. And he came back and said, okay, you can put it in there he said box 7, page 7, box 7, way back then before they had really adjusted the box. But you got to go tell the people. I said, no, why can't you guys just put a little, just put in there like everybody else, American slave? He said, no, we're not going to do that. Since you brought it to our attention, you have to go back and tell the people. And so I said, I got 57,000 people on the American slave page, and I got some on the Descendants of American Slave group, Facebook group. Mm-hmm. I'll go back and share it with them and get them to be able to send it out to the people. And so that's what we're doing. We just want to educate our people because it's about us. It's time for us to get paid. We got to do business and stop doing business. Arron, I marveled with how the Jewish people, they say they're descendants of the Holocaust, and they're not ashamed of it. It was a bad thing too. But for some reason, we're descendants of American slaves, and we're shameful of it. But Jewish people have been getting paid.
That's right.
It's time for us to get paid. We just have to think differently and put on our business hat. Because it's about business, not business, but business. And
you're absolutely right, Prime Minister. And I feel like this type of effort is exactly what a prime minister would do. Going to Capitol Hill, lobbying for the American slave nation, speaking with the founder, Dr. Norris Shelton, discussing with him strategy, and then getting us to a place ahead of time before the election, getting it substantiated that when descendants of American slaves actually check box 8 and write in American slave, that our numbers will be counted, and then there won't be so much confusion around immigrants and Black or African American, and combining that whole thing and us seemingly getting nothing out of it.
Well, Arron, I agree with you. This identity piece, it really locks it in place. You can't say anything else other than that's who they have claimed themselves. They're in the Constitution, and we have to put them in the proper American pecking order. Because right now, the American slave culture has not been economically placed in an order, and so we've been left out. And the other groups have been coming over to get what really belonged to America's firstborn culture. And so I'm so excited about it. I ain't ashamed. I am a descendant of American slave. I'm part of the American slave culture. And it's like freedom. I've been made free. And it's all about us going up at once. It's 2020. We got to do things a little bit differently. We need economics for our communities so that we can save our people, create business ownership, create jobs like every other culture is doing. We have to begin to do culture business too. I'm excited.
Well, I'm excited too, and we certainly appreciate your time on the Census of American Slave Network. We know that your schedule is always busy, and I know that you're getting ready to fly out here, so we certainly appreciate your time. And reflecting back to our script and our agenda here, it seems that we've hit everything. Or we reviewed our public service announcement. We went over the document. We referenced the 14th Amendment. And we can also show our viewers on a later video where it does say Indian as well as slave, because that's also in there as well. And so, hey, in closing, we just thank you for your time, and we thank you for the time of those who reviewed the video. We ask that you like, share, and subscribe to the network. And we look forward to posting another video for us all to learn and for us all to grow together. Your final thoughts, Prime Minister.
Appreciate you being on board. It takes teamwork to make the dream work. And I know others out there, they're going to hear the message and say, you know what? I want to be a part of this. It's time for change. And these brothers have gotten together in unity. They're focused. They know where they're going, and we're going to take our people there. We're going to bring them on the journey with us. Hey, folks that want to hear more and learn about the American Slave Group, you can find us out on Facebook. Just type in American Slave, and if those want to go out to our website, www.slaves-usa.com. Peace and blessings, everyone. Thanks for listening.